Hi, good morning. It's Jonathan again. Just coming to talk to you today a little bit about our best kept secret that we have in the practice. It's probably one of the best things that as a vet group do as well, and that's our senior healthcare plan. Often underutilized by the clinics and by owners, and actually it's something that you really need to know about and have a good think about. Last week we spoke about healthcare plans, and I would think of the senior healthcare plan as healthcare plan plus. So when is your pet senior is always one of the hardest things to figure out, and actually they become quite senior quite early on, and we are always quite surprised. And I've got a dog myself who's now 6 years old, and she's not senior, but by the time she's 7, I really need to start to consider that she's becoming an older pet. Still very lively, still very active, still normal, still doing all the good stuff, but getting older. So we need to have a think about what's going to go wrong or what could go wrong in the future. And I think one of the things that the senior healthcare plan does excellently is all about preventative medicine. So what we're trying to do here is try to predict things before they happen, try and be ahead of the curve so we can intervene sooner and get more longevity and higher quality of life from our pets. And one of the ways we do that is by utilizing plans like the senior healthcare plan. So how's it different? So remember last week, you're joining the healthcare plan, basic one, because of good vaccines, excellent value on your flea treatment for the year, excellent value on your wormers for the year, plus a couple of perks. When it comes to the senior healthcare plan, we're joining it because basically we've got an older pet, we need to know a little bit more. We then really start to include the free or included in the plan blood test. Now this blood test is extremely valuable because what it does, and with the systems that we use, we start to then individualize your pet's blood results, and that means we start to track trends, etc. So instead of working against the complete population results, we start to individualize your pet's results, which means we know that Fred, Teddy, Candy, Cosmo, etc., when their blood percentage point dropped by 2% on their hematocrit, which doesn't seem like a lot and is within normal limits on the general population, we can start to suspect inflammatory diseases or degenerative diseases, and we can investigate further. And we often pick up things like hypothyroidism in cats earlier because of these tests, etc. So it's about knowing a bit more on your pet and just being ahead of the curve and not waiting for things to happen, and not coming in and going, oh, they're not well. Because the body has got an amazing ability to cope and to deal with and try and offset any diseases that are happening. But we want to get ahead of those diseases and start intervening and do simple changes like dietary changes and exercise changes and etc. and weight controls and bits and pieces, and that will make a big difference to the long-term outcome of your pet. So in the senior healthcare plan, which is healthcare plan plus or senior healthcare plan, it literally is about using an annual preventative blood test. It's also got the urine samples. So urine is really good for us to measure urine specific gravity, and it tells us just the most important thing about old age is renal disease, and the sooner we pick up on renal disease, the more we can start to tailor diets, etc., to try and increase that lifespan. We also have a lot of other things. I'm going to have to refer to the perks on this one, whereas last week I didn't have to because they're all, but this is really important. So you get 20% off neutering. Now, if you've got an older pet and it needs neutering, it's much higher, much more intensive, and yet you still get a bigger discount than on the other one, which is significant. The dental procedures, you get 15% of dental procedures. Now, dogs over the age of 5 and cats over the age of 5 are starting to get dental disease, and actually what we should be doing is really picking on that a bit sooner, but often it's been not picked up and not found quick enough, or it starts to get more. You need to do more, so you need to start to consider extractions, you need to start to do more regular annual cleaning, and it's harder to get them back as clean as they were beforehand, so there's a lot more work involved. So yeah, getting a bigger discount on that I think is an absolutely brilliant idea, hence why I think it's probably the best kept secret. I don't think there's enough people know about senior healthcare plans. And I think we also forget to remind our clients that are on healthcare plans that maybe they should start to look at the senior healthcare plan. Where other clients in the past have found it really useful is when they're becoming under pressure from the financial pressure of your insurance, which goes up about this time. And the reason why your insurance goes up around this time is because your pet is more likely to start to get ill and get diseases, and that's why we want something like a senior healthcare plan in place, getting ahead of that. And you can still use it alongside insurance, and I would still recommend, ideally you have insurance and senior healthcare plan, but we have had some clients where they've had issues with their insurance and they're having to pay like up to £200 per month for insurance. No longer feasible, no longer affordable, and they've then gone on to our senior healthcare plan, getting excellent value on a lot of procedures, lots of benefits, including 10% off all other lab work, so skin scrapes, basically any other more detailed blood test. It's not an annual blood test. Regular thyroid monitoring, you'd be getting that off. You also get, instead of £5 off a vet consult, you start to get £10 off a vet consult. You also get all the regular bits and pieces. And I think there was one that I really wanted, yes, there it is, the 10% on long-term prescription medication. Now, our long-term prescription medication is already heavily discounted and competitive, and we try as a group and as a practice of Worcester Vets for Pets to make certain that your long-term medication is affordable as much as we can. So we don't have as much margins and profitability on those drugs because they're long-term medications. We want you to get the value from that. And then on this plan, you also get 10% off that as well. So excellent use of the plan, and actually seriously good value. Hence why I actually believe that this is probably the best kept secret we have regarding our healthcare plans in practice. So thanks for listening. Have a great day, and yeah, we'll speak to you again next week and catch up with any other little tips and tricks we've got in our business. Thanks a lot. Bye.